Nick Gallo, Sports. Chet, the defensive performance was really kind of wire to wire tonight. What stood out to you about the way that you guys were able to defend so consistently?
Yeah, it came down to really understanding and taking in the game plan that the coaches gave us, and then as a unit on the floor, uh, being on the same page and trying to execute that. And for early in the season, I feel like we did a really good job. Obviously, there's a lot of things to clean up, and we're going to work to do that, but I feel like we had some good moments tonight.
This was one of those matchups that Lou is going to take with a guy like Lillard throughout the course of the season. Your first time kind of seeing him with one of those types of perimeter matchups, what'd you think?
Man, I think it's great. Talking about Dame, obviously a great player, and Lou, a great player, great defender, and you don't guard great players one-on-one. That's just not a good recipe for long-term success. So, me and Lou are communicating back and forth all day, and just kind of talking, trying to be on the same page again. Execute the game plan together, and there's more stuff to clean up. But again, I feel like we did a good job and had good moments.
And just want to ask you about, I think, 34 assists tonight. That number seems to just keep rising for you guys throughout the preseason. How are you feeling about the offense and how you guys are working together?
Yeah, I think it's great. We're really hitting a good stride and figuring things out. Like I said, it's early and we're going to have mistakes and we're going to work to fix things. But I feel like we're in a really good spot. We're starting to click and mesh with each other. And, Coach just talks about having good efficiency. And, the more efficient you play as a team, the bigger the pie is for everybody. So that's what we're trying to do, get good shots for each other, good looks, and help make each other better out there.
Speaking of those assists, you were the recipient of a couple of driving kick corner threes. Just what's it like for you being able to space the floor like that and play with so many guys who are looking for those sort of opportunities?
Yeah, it's great to be able to go out there and get good shots without having to work extremely hard for them. We got great players on this team, and they're really selfless. They're willing to work hard and draw the double team or the help, and then find guys out on the perimeter, which is big. It makes shots easy for me as well as other shooters out there when guys find them as well. So it's great. It goes back to the efficiency thing. Open threes, especially corner threes, are a very efficient shot especially for a lot of guys on this team. Putting the work in to shoot those shots well. I think it's great, and I look forward to continuing that.
Chet, Mark was just in here talking about, over the course of the season, you're going to be in a million pick and rolls, and with Dame, you got to come up a little bit. With some other guys, you might drop back a little bit. What's that process been like for you, just from, the first preseason game to now, figuring out, different personnel and where you have to be on the floor?
Yeah, it's great. I love thinking through the game and having to think on the fly with things. Things happen quick. You're turning your head and seeing things, and you have to be able to communicate to your teammates and act on certain situations in a split instance. And we're only going to get better at that. We're only going to get better at that as a team, and I'm going to get better myself at that with the reps that we're going to have. Like you said, a million pick and rolls. I'm in a lot of them all game long, and it's going to change personnel-wise, like you said. Dame, obviously, we're up there tight, great shooter. He's coming off looking to get that shot off, and other players we're going to have different coverages for, but that's going to come down to coaches giving us a great game plan, and going to come down to us players executing that.
You guys had your full starting lineup. They had Dame, Giannis. Just what's the value of having a competitive game like this against a good team towards the end of the preseason schedule to kind of get into regular season form?
Yeah, it's great. We're going to see great teams like this all season long, so the earlier we get to see that type of competition and really sharpen our swords, I guess you could say. Iron sharpens iron, and that's a great team and with great players, and it's great to be able to see that early on and learn from it.
Thanks, Chet.
Yeah.
Paris Lawson, Valley Sports. Josh, the defensive execution took strides tonight. Just what was kind of the biggest emphasis and focus for you guys on that end of the floor?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Dame and Giannis are a big centerpiece of every team's game plan when you play against this team, and for us, it was no different. And I thought, Lou did an awesome job on Dame, made life tough for him all night, and Dub was awesome again on Giannis. And I think you can only ask those guys to do so much one-on-one with talent like that, and I think the supporting cast around and the other three guys on the floor that were, showing bodies and being in help spots did an awesome job as well. So I think Collectively, we guarded 1 through 5 all night. I thought we made them go to other guys to score the ball, and I think obviously they want to play through Dame and Giannis. So I think if you can push them out and make other guys beat you, it makes things tough for that team. So we did an awesome job defensively tonight, and I thought we really executed the game plan the way we prepared this morning for it.
And then offensively, you guys seem to generate so much space offensively to be able to create so many actions. Just what has that been like so far this preseason with how you guys have been able to do that offensively?
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, obviously it's only been a few games together, but I think the more we practice and play, the better that's going to get. And I think talking specifically about the starting group, I think having 5 guys that can handle the ball and make plays is such a luxury. And having a big like Chet that can stretch the floor and keep bigs out of the paint is awesome for us guards that want to get downhill too. So I think we're really starting to click and find our stride. But as I said, we've played 2 games. Shay didn't play the first one. We played 2 games together. So it's going to take time to click on all cylinders where we know what each other are doing, and those things don't happen overnight. So it's not really something you can teach. It'll naturally and gradually start to happen. But I think we've got a really unselfish group. Guys make the extra pass, make the right play, and everyone on this team is about winning games. So it's a fun group to play with.
Josh, to that point, like for you guys to play the way you're talking about, where everybody can put it on the floor and everybody can pass it, some guys who are used to having the ball a lot more have to change the way they play. What's the process of getting guys to buy into that?
Yeah, I think that's the best part about our team is having a sacrifice. Some nights you're not going to have the ball as much as others, and we're really fortunate. It could be easy for guys to get upset and say they want the ball more, but fortunately we've got a group that understands that. Specifically, going back to our starting group, we're all good with the ball in our hands. So we make the right play, make the extra pass, and we understand that this team's going to look good if we all buy into what we're trying to do and continue to be unselfish, make the right play, and that's what guys are doing. So as I said, it could be very easy for guys to want the ball more or demand this or that, but none of our guys are like that, and it's important for a young group that we understand to have a winning team. There has to be sacrifices from everybody, and we all understand that, and willing to do whatever it takes for this group to win games.
Seems like you're not only using your size to get to the basket, but it seems like you're using your strength a little bit more. How much of a focal point was that for you coming into the season?
Yeah, a big emphasis. I mean, just trying to continue to get to the rim. I settled for a lot of floaters my first couple of years, and that kind of 5 to 10 foot range. But I still take a few of them. But just trying to put an emphasis on really getting into the paint. Trying to get to the line more, trying to be better finishing around the basket. So that is obviously a point of emphasis for me this season. But whether that's scoring or if it collapses the defense, kicking out the shooters or whoever it is. So just making the right play. And as I said, it helps having a guy like Chet that can stretch the floor and keeps bigs out of the lane, which really frees up driving opportunities for us guards. So just continuing to get downhill, put pressure on the rim, but making the right play when I get there.
Josh, things seem to be just coming easier for you this preseason. What has changed versus previous seasons?
I think just letting the game come to you. I think obviously, as I said, we've got guys that are so good with the ball in their hands that some nights other guys are going to be cooking, some nights you're going to be cooking, and it's just understanding who's got it going, what's working that night. And in Detroit, other guys had it going, and I'm more than happy to kind of play that connecting role with that unit. And then tonight, I get downhill a little more, make a few more buckets. So as I said, it'll change every night, but we understand that it takes sacrifice to have a good team, and that's what we all want to do, and it's a fun way to play that way.
Nick Alabali Sports, coming into the game, you were talking about just wanting to see a more complete defensive effort. Where did that start for you tonight, and how are you guys able to maintain it throughout the game?
Yeah, I thought, like I said the other night, I was a little disappointed with where we were defensively, and I thought tonight was a nice step forward. A lot of progress on that end of the floor. Just looked like we knew what we were doing in our normal schemes. And then I thought our game plan execution on Lillard and Giannis was pretty good. Made some mistakes, but intentions were there. Guys were trying to execute what needs to be done. I thought, it was a nice step forward on that end.
Yeah, pretty much for the flow of the game, guys like Beasley and Connaughton ended up having the same number of shot attempts as Giannis and Lillard combined. That's one thing to kind of want that to happen before the game. It's another to actually get it to happen. What stood out to you about the guys actually being able to execute that game plan?
Just good focus, I thought. And it wasn't totally clean. There's definitely things we can learn from. We play this team pretty quickly in the start of the season. I don't know how many games it is, but we could certainly learn from some. But I thought it was a nice start, good baseline.
The offense tonight, the efficiency was really high. What did you think of the looks that you all were able to generate throughout the night?
Pretty good. I thought really well-intentioned effort. Again, trying to do the right things. Not going to be perfect at any point in the season, but certainly this early. But I thought we played the right way and played with good pace up the floor, and continue to make progress there. Tonight was a step forward in every facet.
For Josh in particular, seemed like he was playing with a lot of force on the offensive end. Just what did you think of that effort from him?
I thought we as a team did a really good job of creating space, especially in transition on some of those drives that he had. And then the other thing I think is worth pointing out is in Montreal, I thought he played a really complete game, played really, really good defense in that game, highly engaged on that end of the floor. And offensively, he threw a bunch of advanced passes. He had the ball hopping for us, and he only got 5 shot attempts. And it just kind of wasn't his night. We were on a fast break. He fumbled the ball out of bounds. He had a really clean drive, wasn't able to finish. It just wasn't it wasn't a high output night on the box score, but it was a great identity game for him, I thought, and it just didn't happen to yield 20 points or whatever he had tonight. And I think us developing a trust in that as a team, that's just a great example of let's just play to our stuff, play to your stuff, and just trust that it comes around. And I thought tonight it came around for him.
It seemed like in preseason that you guys are trying to push the pace more and get out and go no matter the situation, whether it's a make or a miss. Is that a new identity you guys are trying to build?
Not new. I think there's different times where we want to try to control the pace of the game, and sometimes we want to get it and go and play fast, and other times we want to settle down and execute and get a good shot. I think the guys have done a good job on their own of trying to get it out quickly and up the floor, and just kind of use our concepts in the half court. And when we play the right way, that's highly effective, and we've played the right way for the most of the preseason on offense.
Mark, there's a play where Jang is cutting. He finds a two-point shooter and swings the ball. What have you kind of seen from him as he's been here in terms of his feel and his playmaking ability?
Well, he's always had feel and playmaking ability, that he had walking in the door. He's got great instincts of, where the ball should go. And obviously needed to work on a lot, needed to work on his body, still a really, really young player. I thought the best thing for him tonight was in the Charlotte game, I thought he could have played more physical, with more force, more consistently, with long minutes, and wasn't, great in practice yesterday in that, and got that course corrected very quickly tonight. He got the car back on the road just competitively. I don't know. He had 3 points, similar to what I just said about Josh. He had 3 points, but if you really unpack his game possession by possession, he was highly engaged. He played really hard. He was very good defensively, and for him to course correct that quickly, I thought was impressive. I thought it was a very good night for him.
Chet and Sar shared the floor for a little bit there in the second quarter, had some pretty good stretches, helped each other get buckets. Just what did you see out of them when they were on the floor together, that double big duo?
Yeah, we wanted to take a look at that, and I thought it was pretty good. It takes a little time getting used to for them, but they're both really active. They both have great range defensively in terms of ground that they can cover. They both rim protect. They both rebound. So I thought it yielded some of that defensively, and then offensively we played in a nice flow. I thought Micic did a good job. Joe, Wiggs, with that group. So it was encouraging.
Just in general, over the course of Chet's offense has been really efficient, but what have you seen from the first preseason game to now defensively for him? This is a challenge tonight for him. How do you feel like he's progressing?
He had good game plan execution tonight. It's he's going to be in a billion pick and rolls defensively, and they're all kind of nuanced based on who the defensive guard is, who the offensive guard is, who the screener is, where the screen's set, what the game plan is. And tonight, he moved himself up a little bit with Lillard. He was back a little further with other guys. I thought he showed good intellect on that end of the floor, which is going to be important. And we're going to be able to weaponize that. We have smart bigs. Sarr's smart. Jalen Williams from Arkansas is smart. He's smart. Those guys are smart players.